You need to raise your standards. You need to raise your standards from all the people that you let around you and also the standards that you have for yourself. In today's video, I'm going to share with you exactly why and how to do that. And without wasting any time, let's get right into it. We all have standards, how we allow ourselves and the people around us to be. We all have them, no matter how successful or unsuccessful you are. The only difference between the people that are more successful and actually get done more and achieve more in their lives is that they have higher standards for themselves. But let me explain. You would be probably very disgusted by yourself if you would wear the same socks for 2 weeks. And that's just because you have set the standard for yourself to not do that. Only the thought of doing that disgusts you. That's exactly where your standard is, and that is why you would never do that. And that is the power of your standards. But you cannot only do them with simple things like changing your socks, you can also do them with things like going to the gym, making money, working, not scrolling on your phone, and all these things. So let me give you an example of a standard that I have built up by myself that's very powerful to actually be more efficient and achieve more in the day. So I would be very disgusted by myself if I would just lay on the couch, take out my phone and start scrolling TikTok for 2 hours. For you that might be normal, but for me only the thought of doing that disgusts myself so crazy that I would never ever do that. And that's just because I have built up the standard for myself to not do that. And you can literally do that with anything that you have in your life. Another example, I go to the gym every day or work out every day for 6 months now. Every day. And I did that so many times that it actually got a standard of mine. So I couldn't go to sleep without knowing that I have done a workout today. And that's just because I have done it so many times and built up the standard. You can actually build up a standard for anything. That's exactly what you want to do. Like 2 weeks ago, I heard in a YouTube video somebody say he would be so disgusted by himself if he wouldn't do 200k a month. And if it would drop or it would like go to 10k a month, he couldn't sleep. Like he would have sweat and tears and all these kind of things just because his standard is so high. And if he couldn't achieve that, he couldn't sleep because he can't achieve his standard. It would disgust him so much. And that's so powerful because once you build up these standards, you actually can't go back because you do so many things because you don't want to be disgusted by yourself. We all have these standards, and the only thing that we need to do to actually achieve more is to actually raise these standards. That is the key to getting done more, to achieving more. We need to make it our personality. But now, how do we actually change them? How do we actually raise our standards for ourselves? At first, we need to get clear about what is the new standard that we want to develop and have for ourselves. I actually did this exercise for myself too, and I can share with you what I wrote down, a new standard that I want to develop and have for myself. So the standard that I wrote down for myself is I want to start reading a book a week. I want to read every week 1 book. That's the standard that I want to develop. But it can be literally anything. From reading a book to praying, to meditating, to working, to going to the gym. It can be literally anything. Just something that you want to change or improve or develop in your life and something you want to spend more time with. You can set a standard for literally anything. Now I will give you some time to actually write these things down. All the new standards that you want to develop and set for yourself. It's actually very important to write all these things down because without knowing what you want to change, you can't actually change it. So really take this exercise seriously and do it with clear intention and focus. Now that you're finished, let's continue with step 2. Step 2 is just reminding yourself every day of what your standards are. You can do that with literally whatever you want. It just needs to be something that you see every day and that you can read through that reminds you of all the standards that you have set for yourself. I, for example, have something called the SBE sheet, See, Believe, Achieve. It's just a sheet where I wrote down all the things, all the standards that I have for myself. It's almost like affirmations, and it helps me a lot just reading through this every morning. It reminds me, okay, that's me, that's my personality. And when I'm in the situation where I think of doing something, it always helps me because I think back and I say, no, that's not my personality, that's not my standard, I'm not going to do that. So just do something that you see every day and that you can read through that actually reminds you of what your standards are. And now let's come to the final and most important step. Without this step, all the rest is literally worthless. And this last step is just actually applying them. Actually execute your standards. Your standards do not change from shouting affirmations in the mirror. It comes from actually doing it and knowing that you did them for such a long time. I mean, think of all the standards that you have developed for yourself. For example, not wearing the same sock for 2 weeks. It's just because you don't do that for such a long time. You change your sock every day, and that's why you develop the standard of doing that. And that's the exact same thing and the exact same strategy how you build up any other standard in the world. It's good to be clear about all the standards, but now you need to actually execute that. If you execute your standards for 1 month, it will actually start to feel weird not doing them. You will start to feel disgusted by yourself by not doing them. And that's exactly what you want to achieve with your standards. You want to build standards that are beneficial for you and your success, and you want to build them so strong that you start to be so disgusted by yourself if you don't do them and achieve them. And on that note, I really hope that you got enormous amounts of value out of this video and actually start applying these steps, because without applying them, they're literally worthless. And on that note, I really thank you for watching this video to the end, and I'm going to see you in the next one.